When a recession hits, it is like a tornado that rips through the economy. It is impossible to know when or how much harm they will do until they strike. Simply hearing the word recession can be enough to send some people into a state of panic, causing them to sell their stocks out of fear and rush to the bank to withdraw all of their savings. The consensus among economists is that we should start making preparations for the potential of a recession right now. This uncertainty is being fueled by a lot of issues, but the most significant ones right now are the actions taken by the Federal Reserve to raise interest rates and the ongoing rise in inflation. The Federal Reserve raised interest rates for the first time in 28 years last week in an effort to battle inflation. As the economy continues to contend with sky-high gas prices, a shaky stock market, and a persistent labor shortage, it becomes increasingly likely that economic activity will drop, which tends to correlate with increased unemployment, stock market declines, and pay and benefit reductions. Hi, and welcome back to Fascinating Self. Whatever the future holds, economic booms and busts will always occur. We want you to know that even though you may not have much influence over the effects that difficult economic times will have on you, there are actions that you can take to best prepare yourself for whatever may come your way. Stay with us until the end of the episode to learn 7 ways to prepare for a recession. To begin with, what is a recession exactly? According to the National Bureau of Economic Research, or NBER, the term recession refers to a major fall in economic activity that lasts more than a few months and is often reflected in real GDP, real income, employment, industrial output, and wholesale retail sales. A recession cannot be predicted in any one way or time frame. A global recession is presumed to be impending if the GDP falls for 2 consecutive quarters, although analysts look at other indicators as well. So, without further ado, here are some tips on how to get ready for a recession. Number 1. Build an emergency fund. Now is the time to make sure you have enough money in your rainy day fund in case of an emergency. Individuals are advised to save enough money to cover 3 to 6 months of spending. In contrast, pensioners, pre-retirees, and individuals in businesses that may suffer long-term consequences from a recession may desire to set away more funds. As interest rates rise, high-yield savings accounts, certificates of deposit, and some government bonds may all begin to reward savers with more money. Instead of letting your money sit in a standard savings account earning nothing, look into different alternatives. Nevertheless, earning 1% return on your investments is better than nothing. You need to have some savings in place before the recession hits because it will be more difficult to save if your hours are reduced or if your business is affected. Number 2, identify your financial priorities. Start by looking at your own finances to see where you stand financially. This serves as a starting point for your financial planning. The first step is to figure out your monthly income and essential spending. Rent and food should be included in essential expenses because they are definite necessity. Do not include in your general budget additional goods that you deem needs, such as a health club membership. It is excellent to know what you need now, but it is much better to know where you may save money in the event of an unexpected financial crisis. Maintain a 50-30-20 spending ratio by keeping track of your expenses and setting spending goals. That means spending 50% of your income on necessities like rent or mortgage, phone, internet, groceries, and medical bills. 30% of the total spent on one-time entertainment, hobbies, and travel. 20% allocated to monetary reserves and financial investments. You can alternate the last 2 and spend 30% on savings and 20% on entertainment. Number 3, pay off your credit card debt. This is one of the most important things you can do. You will feel liberated and at peace once you have paid off all your debt. Higher food costs and a drop in the stock market will not bother you as much if you are not devoting the majority of your income to debt repayment. It is much easier to say something than it is to put it into practice. But if there was ever a time to take care of your outstanding credit card debt, now would be the moment. Consumer debt is exploding due to skyrocketing interest rates, and that trend is only certain to continue. The Federal Reserve is hiking interest rates, which means that they will rise even more. This will not have an immediate effect on your credit card, but it will have an effect in the long run. Go ahead and put a hold on your debt snowball if you are out of work or fear you may lose your job soon. Debt will only make things worse and leave you in a worse financial situation in the future. Number 4, create new revenue streams. I will tell you why. When the economy is unstable, having numerous sources of income can be extremely beneficial. Make an effort to diversify the sources of income you have so that in the event that your company undertakes a round of layoffs and you find yourself unemployed, you will still have money flowing in. Consider a part-time employment or an interest that you hope to turn into a full-time career. The following are possible sources of additional income. A side hustle. Any different sorts of ventures can be run on the side while still working full-time jobs. Tutoring, freelance writing, and selling handmade goods on Etsy are just a few examples. Using a house-sharing service such as Airbnb or renting out a room to a regular tenant are 2 options if you have a large property. It is possible to earn some additional cash online by doing odd tasks on sites like TaskRabbit, Fiverr, and mTurk. Number 5, do not panic sell or liquidate your investment portfolio. When the value of your 401k is falling, it is natural to feel panic about the future of your retirement savings. But in most situations, you should not take any action. Sit tight. Whenever the stock market falls by 20% or more, people make decisions based on emotion rather than logic. Rather, keep in mind that investing is a long-term undertaking. There is a possibility that you will incur a loss in the near term, but if you can maintain your position and remain patient, the market will most likely rebound in the long run. In the event that things start to appear dreadful, just keep in mind that we have been in this situation before and regrettably most likely will be here again. In the midst of a panic, it may feel unusual to do nothing, but when it comes to long-term investing, this is the best strategy. The average duration of a bear market since 1950 is roughly 418 days, according to Anthony Saglin-Benning, a global market strategist for Ameriprise Financial. As a result, adjust your perspective and see this as an opportunity to invest for the long run. Number 6, invest in a variety of asset classes and make sure your portfolio is diversified. A portfolio that is recession-proof does not exist. When it comes to investing, a well-diversified portfolio is always the best option regardless of the economic climate. Diversification allows you to reduce the amount of money at risk in the event that one of your investment fails. You have the option of putting your money into a wide variety of assets, including equities, bonds, real estate, precious metals, commodities, and even stable currencies from other countries. It is a good idea to divide your money over 2 or more assets that complement one another. For example, when stocks fall in value, the value of bonds rises and vice versa. If you have some money invested in bonds and some in stocks, this means that if the stock market goes down, the value of your bonds will go up, which will offset the loss from the stock market. Number 7, work on your credit score. Borrowing money becomes more difficult during times of recession. Because lenders are fearful that borrowers may default on their loans, they are reluctant to lend. In order to compensate for this risk, they raise the interest rates they charge. That makes it more critical than ever to maintain a solid credit score. As a result, you should expect to pay high interest rates on credit cards and other loans, including mortgages, if you have a bad credit rating. In addition, there is a chance that you will not qualify for additional loans. You will have a better chance of getting a loan in the future if you improve your credit score today. A few things you can do to improve your credit include credit card and loan debts must be paid in full, maintaining old credit accounts, identifying and correcting problems in your credit report, and regularly paying your bills on time. It is not fun to tighten your belt, but it is also not fun to be unprepared. Spend some time now putting money aside for a rainy day, paying down debt, and cutting back on other regular spending. Because there is no way to know when the next economic downturn will begin, the ideal time to start making preparations for it is right now. As soon as the recession is declared, it is too late to start looking for a new employment, paying off your debts, or putting up an emergency fund. The good news is that a recession will not last forever. So, prepare for the worst-case scenario by taking proactive measures and keeping in mind that better days are approaching. Folks, that brings us to the end of today's episode. Let us know the strategy that best prepares you for the recession in the comments below. Consider subscribing to our channel to stay up to date in personal finance news. See you in the next one!